Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to show you how to do the large shell stitch. For this project, you're going to need a crochet hook. I'm using a 4mm hook today. You'll also need some yarn. I'm going to be using this number 4 weight acrylic. You'll also need some scissors, as well as a yarn needle to weave in your ends. So gather your supplies, and let's jump in. As with most of our crochet projects, this one begins with a slip knot. So I'll tie my slip knot, and then I'll insert my hook into the knot, just like that. From here, I'm going to start with a chain of 24. This stitch is worked in sets of 8 stitches, so you have to do multiples of 8 stitches, and then our foundation chain will have an additional 9 stitches at the end. So I'm going to start with my multiple of 8. I'm doing 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So that is my multiples of 8. Now, to finish off our foundation chain, we have to add an additional 9 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So, no matter what your length is, if you're going to be doing 80 as your multiples of 8, you're still going to have to add 9 to your foundation chain. So there is my foundation chain. Now, in the 5th chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we're going to put in 3 treble crochets into that chain. A treble crochet has you wind the yarn around the hook 2 times, so yarn over twice, insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. There's 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now there's 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now there's 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. That is 1 treble crochet. Yarn over twice, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And there we go. Now we have 2 treble crochets in that stitch. We're going to be putting 3 treble crochets in that same stitch. So in the 5th chain from the hook, we're going to put in 3 treble crochets. Now we're going to skip 3 of the chains, 1, 2, and 3. In the next chain, the 4th one, we're going to do 1 single crochet. Then we'll skip 3 more chains, 1, 2, and 3. And in the next chain here, we're going to put in 7 treble crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we're going to skip the next 3 chains, 1, 2, and 3. In the next one, we're going to put 1 single crochet. And there we go. Then we'll skip the next 3 chains, 1, 2, and 3. And in that next chain, we're going to put 7 treble crochets. And 7. And there we go. Those 7 treble crochets make a nice flat shell shape. And then the single crochet we put in between creates a nice in-between space between the shells. After we finish that last treble crochet, we'll skip the next 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and in the following chain, we'll put a single crochet. Then we'll skip 3 more, 1, 2, 3, and in the next one, we'll put 7 treble crochets. 1 and 7. And there we go. Got my last treble crochet in there. Then I'm going to skip 3, 1, 2, and 3. And now in my last stitch of the row, I am going to put a single crochet. At the end of every row, you're going to finish off with a single crochet. Here's what it's looking like after the first row. We've got 3 full shells and 1 half shell. We're going to have half shells making up the sides of the work. So we finish on a full shell here, but for the next row, it's going to start with a half shell. So we'll end up with 3.5 shells on each row. If you did 80, for example, you would end up with 10 shells and a half on each one, I think. Or maybe you'd end up with 9. No, you'd end up with 10. 10.5. So I'm ending up with 3.5. So let's get into row number 2. For row number 2, we're going to start with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That chain of 4 represents a treble crochet. It's the same height as one of our treble crochets. Now into the single crochet that we finished the row with, if you see, we finished on a single crochet. We do a chain 4 and turn. Now in that single crochet, we're going to put 3 treble crochets. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. And that's going to be our half shell that we're starting the row with. And that's going to keep the side of the work straight. Having that chain 4 and 3 treble crochets is going to keep the sides nice and straight. Now we're going to skip the first 3 treble crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And then in this fourth one, we're going to do a single crochet. Then we'll skip the next 3 treble crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And then in that single crochet, we're going to put 7 treble crochets. We're basically doing the exact same thing we did for the first row. We're just not working in chains anymore. We're working into treble crochets and single crochets. So I'm going to put 7 treble crochets into this single crochet stitch. There's 4, there's 5, 6, and 7. And then we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, which are treble crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and then into the 4th treble crochet. If you look in a group of 7, there's 7, so 3 and 3, leaving that 4th one right in the middle. In that middle one, we're going to be putting our single crochets. So without even counting, you can see in the next shell, we've got 7, so we can just count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to be putting our single crochet here. So now we're going to skip the remaining treble crochets, and into that single crochet, we'll put 7 more treble crochets. And here is number 7 into that single crochet. There we go. And then we'll skip the next 3 treble crochets, and in the 4th one, we'll put a single crochet. Then we'll skip the next 3, 1, 2, 3. And then into the last single crochet of the row here, we'll put 7 treble crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we'll skip the next 3 treble crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And then at the end of the round, the chain 4, at the top of that chain 4, we're going to put a single crochet into that spot. And that will finish off our row. And then we finished with a single crochet just like the first row did. And here is what that shell stitch is looking like after 2 rows. You can see we've got our shells, and then on the following row, they're offset. So row number 3, we're going to be starting with a half shell. We finish with a half shell. We start with a half shell at the beginning of each row, and then we finish with a full shell, and we finish with a single crochet. Let's get into row number 3. We're going to start row number 3 with a chain of 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we'll turn the work. Now in that single crochet we finished row number 2 with, we're going to put in 3 treble crochets. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. And that makes up our half shell to start off our row. Then we'll skip the first 3 treble crochets, and in the 4th one, we'll put a single crochet. Then we'll skip the next 3 treble crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then in the single crochet, we will put 7 treble crochets. From here on out, it is the exact same repeat as row number 2. So we're going to put 7 treble crochets in every one of the single crochet stitches, and we're going to put a single crochet in the 4th out of 7 of the treble crochet stitches. We're going to repeat that for as many rows as you want to. I'm going to zoom through a few rows so I can show you what it starts to look like as we get farther up the project. All right, so here is what it's looking like after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. How cute is that? That would make such a pretty blanket, like a full afghan in this stitch. Wouldn't that be lovely? And it's got these little puckered areas that sort of puff out, not quite as intensely as like a puff stitch or a popcorn stitch, but it's got a little bit of a puff to it that you can kind of enhance by organizing your stitches in one way or another. But I think that looks very sweet at 6 rows. And you can see, because we did the half shells on the sides, we've got nice straight edges. So that's why you really want to count your stitches for this stitch. You really need to have groups of 8, that's your shells. And then you're gonna want the 9 stitches additionally at the beginning of the row. That's going to give you this nice straight edge on the project. You'll get half shells at the beginning of each row, and then you'll finish with single crochets at the end of each row. I'm gonna do a few more rows, and let's just go over it one more time. At the beginning of each row, you'll be starting with a chain of 4. Then in that first single crochet, we're gonna put 3 treble crochets. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Then we'll skip the first 3 treble crochets out of the first shell, 1, 2, and 3. Then in this 4th treble crochet into the top, we'll put 1 single crochet. Then we'll skip the next 3 treble crochets, 1, 2, 3. And then in this single crochet, we're going to put 7 treble crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we'll skip the 3 treble crochets, 1, 2, 3. Now in this 4th one, in the top of the stitch, we'll put a single crochet. And we'll repeat this all the way across. And here I am at the end of the row. I've just finished my last 7 treble crochets, and then I'm going to skip the 3 treble crochets and put my final single crochet to finish off my row in that end chain 4 space. And then to start the next row, a chain of 4 and turn. And I'm just going to repeat that for as many rows as I want to do for my project. I think I'm going to do maybe 2 more rows. I just want to make a little rectangle sampler. But you go as long as you want. Here is how my shell stitch is looking after 10 rows. I think this is where I'm going to finish mine. So I'm going to cut my yarn and pull my yarn through on the last stitch. And from here, I'm going to take my yarn needle, thread it up, and then weave in this end. And then I'll come back here and I will show you the final look, and we'll talk about the stitch a little bit. Ta-da! Isn't it sweet? I kind of love this stitch. I love how the little spaces between the scallops kind of gives you this diamond pattern, which is really pretty. Isn't that lovely? I really do think this would make a lovely blanket or afghan. I'm going to be using this as a pocket on a cardigan, so I'm going to stitch around these 3 sides, and this top scalloped edge will be the top part of my pocket. I may fold it down and stitch it, but I think I might just leave it up because I think those scallops are very cute. What do you think? Did you already know how to do the large shell stitch? I think this one is an awesome one to have in your repertoire. It's just treble crochets and single crochets, so it's fairly simple as long as you know those stitches. By the way, if you don't know those stitches, I will link both of the tutorials for each of those up in the corner now, so you can practice them before you come here for this one. But those 7 stitches coming out of one spot gives this lovely fan shell shape. And when we stack them on each other with this offset pattern, we end up with nice straight edges, a nice scalloped top, and just an overall really whimsical and dainty looking stitch. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you like this one, let me know. If you're gonna make something with it, let me know what you're gonna make. I'm always looking for inspiration with these stitches. Anyways, friends, thank you so much for watching, and thank you to everyone who is supporting the channel this month. Here is the list of channel supporters. If you would like to support the channel as well, check the links in the description box down below. All the ways to support will be listed down there. Anyway, friends, thank you so much for watching. That's all I've got for you today, and I'll see you next week. Bye!